few days ago, we talked about Moritz Seider, and we did the entire 2 years later segment with him where we discussed where he was at the 2019 NHL Entry Draft and where he is today. Long story short, he is a fantastic Red Wings prospect, arguably the best defenseman not playing in the National Hockey League today. But today's video is going over another Red Wings prospect who happens to be a defenseman and who also happens to be really big. Let's talk today about the newest top pick out of the Red Wings system, the 6th overall selection in the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, Simon Edvinsson. In fact, now that I'm taking a look at it, Seider was taken 6th overall in 2019, Edvinsson was taken 6th overall in 2021, and then you have Zadina, who was taken 6th in 2018 as well. Oh boy, the Red Wings, man. 6s all around here. Either way, though, Simon Edvinsson is in the news today, not because of the awkward injury kind of looking thing that he had a few days ago in a preseason game against Leksand, which was really weird to see because he went shoulder first into the boards. Instead, though, we're talking about Edvinsson because we had ourselves an article published that was actually in Swedish, I believe, that was fully translated and posted onto the Detroit Red Wings subreddit. Take a look at this post right here by user Ice Hockey Gifts. This is Frölunda Hockey Club's plan for Simon Edvinsson. Celebrated for preseason performance, he has grown to 6'6". If you take a look at the profile right here on Elite Prospects, it says he is 6'5", 207. So if he has grown to 6'6", then hey, that is already a lot better too. But before we go over the entire plan that Frölunda has in store for the newest big Red Wings defenseman, let's just go over the profile here. As we noted, 6'6", around 200 pounds, a left-handed guy who's a defenseman. He plays on the right side as well, so please, if anybody's going to go out there and try to label things left or right, he plays on the right, he can play left, he is a left-handed guy in general though, and he is a Swedish-born guy. Just taking a look at the pure point production right here, last season with the J20 National, he had 6 points in 14 games played, 10 games played with the Frölunda Hockey Club SHL team where he had 1 point, and then in the Allsvenskan he was a pretty good producer as well. For the U18s he had 4 points in 7 games played, and Edvinsson is defined by his smooth skating, his really good defensive shutdown game, and just the overall potential of this player. The scouting report on Elite Prospect says that he's a detailed defender with a high level of in-zone instincts and a tight neutral zone gap. His well-timed physicality and supporting instincts match that as well. He maneuvers with the puck kept in his hip pocket, with his top hand in control, free from his body. With a smooth and gracious skating stride, scaffolded on top of those mechanical handling skills, Edvinsson's tools sometimes take him to rarefied air as a puck carrier. That is a really, really interestingly written scouting report over there by Elite Prospects. Wow, I'm just kind of reading that for the first time in a while here. Very good diction. Either way, though, let's go over onto the Frölunda's plan for Simon Edvinsson post that was on Reddit translated from, I assume, Swedish. When I saw him in the J20, I thought he was dominant. He stands out in every way. He can play offensively, and he can play defensively, has good size, and is a good skater. This is what the Junior Coronas coach Thomas Montan said about Simon Edvinsson ahead of the summer's NHL Draft, and then he was selected 6th overall. Frölunda's coach says this about Simon Edvinsson. In the 10-game stint that he had last season, he's been surprisingly good. He surprised me a lot, and I have to say, I knew he was good, but that he can play shift after shift at such a high level and be so common to play with and without the puck, it's surprising. And so, heading into the new year where he will most likely be a full-time SHL player, what exactly is the plan here? Is he going to get a big role, the interviewer asks. And the coach of Frölunda says, yep, he should play. He's shown it with resolve that he also deserves the trust of our coaching staff. Here are some comments made by Fredrik Jostrom, the sporting director of the Frölunda Hockey Club. He says that it's clear that Simon has started really well and we hope it continues. It's probably going to be a bit up and down during a season. He's a young guy, but it's a step to get into the SHL and do it game after game. How good is he? The interviewer asks. He then replies, of course we have big hopes in Edvinsson, but we don't want to put too much darn pressure on him this early. He's a young guy, but of course we can see what he can do already and how good he has been in these few games. Not putting too much weight on his shoulders already. Last time with Frölunda, they started playing Edvinsson with Christian Folin, who a lot of people actually might be familiar with. Yeah, he was in the Montreal system, if I recall correctly, for quite some time. You can't get a better person next to you in hockey than Christian Folin. He is a tremendous character, incredibly team-focused player who has done all these professional years with all the struggles of being a professional hockey player. He's got a lot to teach Simone on and off the ice, and even Edvinsson agrees that this is indeed a really good fit for him heading into the next season. We found each other right away, and we already feel like we have something to build on. The game is there, and we have a calm time out there together. He's helping me with every part, both on and off the ice, and I'm picking up new things every day. He is a crazy good hockey player and a darn experienced guy. I'm really learning new things. Here's some more comments asking whether or not anybody is surprised as to how good Edvinsson is. He says himself, hey, I'm not really surprised. Everything is about preparing yourself and not taking anything for granted. A bit surprised, maybe, I still am, that it's been going so well, but there's still a lot to do and a lot to build upon. He also is now 198 centimeters, which if you convert it, 198 cm to feet and inches is indeed 6'5" and 61 out of 64 inches, so 6'6". He's 6'6" right now, no longer 6'5". He is also 94 kilograms, so if you do the math on that, 94 kg to pounds is indeed 207 pounds. So 6'6", 207, definitely not a small body over here, and it's kind of funny because he is so mobile and smooth skating despite the fact that he is so big. You want to talk about a guy to play with Moritz Seider? Oh boy, this sounds like your guy right here. He says, I don't know what's happening. My body might not be fully growing, but we will see when I do stop growing. Despite being drafted in the first round and having already several conversations with Detroit during the summer, it was never really close that he would go over already and sign a contract according to the article here. Any big stress to go to the big league in the world that he is not feeling? Edvinsson says, we've talked a lot, but I felt that in Frölunda I have my best development situation. I'm not ready to go over either. I want 1 or 2 years where I feel comfortable with my play and grow into my role. I only have focus on performing here, and I will do it as well as I possibly can. That wraps up the individual interview here. It's on Reddit, so the link is in the description, as well as the regular post. I'll try to find it on gp.se. It's a Swedish interview done with Edvinsson, so you can go ahead and read that if you're Swedish. But either way, it's really interesting to see a few of the comments made here by Simon Edvinsson in particular, how he is not really all too surprised at how well he has done. He said he is kind of surprised that it's been so good so fast, but I love the confidence there where he's like, yeah, I'm not really too surprised that I'm doing all right. We see this a lot with other NHL players and talented prospects in general, even like Quinn Hughes. This is one that I always defer to back when we talk about prospects being confident. When Quinn Hughes started off his NHL campaign with the Canucks, and he was so gosh darn good, the media was asking him, oh, are you surprised at how well it's gone so far? Do you think that you would have been this good this quickly? And Quinn was like, I'm not surprised. I know how good I am. Therefore, I should be able to understand how good I would translate into this new level of hockey. No, I'm not surprised. So for Edvinsson to exhibit the same kind of confidence there, I do really like that. And I do think that it's also a pretty mature decision for him to be like, yeah, I'm not ready. I'm good with sticking around here in Sweden. I want to be here in Frölunda, and I want to be the best that I can be the best version of myself before I head over to the next step, because I have unfinished business here in the SHL. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting when I read these comments over here from Edvinsson talking about how he wants to stick around, how he's not ready for the NHL yet, and how he really wants to mature first before he makes that big jump over to North America. We had ourselves a few other interviews done that were posted on the Twitter and whatnot of him talking about the contract negotiations and the conversations with the Detroit Red Wings. And might I say here, this is another kind of relative thing to the Vancouver Canucks. We spoke about Quinn Hughes. Let's talk about Elias Pettersson now, because when Pettersson was drafted by Vancouver 5th overall in 2017, he actually did not sign his entry-level contract until a year after. The Canucks let him do his thing. They were like, okay, wherever you want to play, just do what it is that you want to do. He went over to SHL hockey in Vecqua, and he was fantastic. He was the best junior player that league had ever seen. And then the Vancouver Canucks were like, okay, you were great. Do you want to sign now? And then he was like, okay, we'll sign now. Because he finished off everything that he felt like he needed to do. He was the best version of himself. He was the best player in that league before signing with Vancouver. And Edvinsson, albeit he's not a forward, he's not a center, he's not going to go out there and break Elias Pettersson's point records or whatever, but he is still a guy who exhibits the same kind of mentality. okay, I need to be the best version of myself before I sign this contract. I need to be worthy enough to put my pen to the paper here and lock myself into Detroit in North America across the Atlantic Ocean. So I like the plan that's being laid out here, 1 or 2 years extra in Frölunda before heading over to the NHL or just North America in general. Talk to me in the comments, what do you think about Simon Edvinsson and the way that he has been developing so far, as well as what you think about the overall plan that he has laid out for himself here in this interview. Links are in the description as always. I hope you enjoyed this video, Trolls 99, and bye.